excitement. We have some exciting news today, and we have the regional administrator here to make an announcement. But first of all, the mayor actually was not available today. He's in Washington, D.C. doing good duty for New Haven. And here to welcome us is Kelly Murphy from his office.
Good morning, everyone. Just like Julie said, it's really great when we get to gather together. This is, on behalf of Mayor Stefano and the Economic Development team, a lot of people who are here today. It's fun to be together with our partners because what we do together, and we share the goal of neighborhood revitalization and strengthening neighborhoods, but none of us can do it alone, and it's a true partnership. And I'm really glad to welcome HUD and Chaffin and Congresswoman here to, we're really happy that you chose New Haven to make this announcement, because I think we do represent that great partnership and a leadership in community development. So I'd like to welcome the HUD Regional Director, Richard Ficklin.
Thank you, Kelly. Thanks, Kelly, and thank you all. I want to repeat Kelly's sentiment about being glad to stand and proud to stand with our partners in housing counseling as well as housing finance. The energy in this room is palpable, and we are proud to be working with you as we today announce proudly a $1 billion nationwide emergency homeowner loan program. And I'm especially proud to join Congresswoman DeLauro because she's one of the stalwart supporters of this kind of assistance to folks who played by the rules but are out and down as part of the great recession that we're undergoing. We all know these are difficult times for our families, and when President Obama took office, we were losing an average of 753,000 jobs per month, and we're in the middle of 22 straight months of job loss. Credit was frozen nearly solid. We should remember these things. It wasn't that long ago. It seems very distant, but we should remember the situation when the president came into office. And house prices were in a free fall, having fallen every month for 30 straight months. But from the moment that this president set foot in office, the administration has been pushing back against the great foreclosure crisis and developing a comprehensive plan to stabilize the housing markets and help responsible homeowners. As a result, mortgages are now more affordable, with more than 7.2 million households taking advantage of historically low interest rates, saving an estimated $150 per month on average on their home mortgage payments. Home prices have leveled off this past year, and we've restored over $1 trillion in home equity, close to $14,000 on average for every homeowner, bolstering seniors' retirement security, restoring an important source of college tuition support, and helping entrepreneurs start small businesses. And over the last 19 months, more than 3.3 million borrowers have received restructured mortgages, more than twice the number of foreclosures completed during that time. It's important to say these things and to say them again. In the midst of this crisis, we have to remember that our hard work, the work that we do every day, has had results. Certainly the results are not as quick or not as large as we would like. It took a long time to dig this hole. It's going to take a lot of work day by day to dig ourselves out. And that's what you're all doing. And we're proud to help. We're proud to bring these resources. The Congresswoman has stood firmly beside the administration in this regard, and we're proud to have not only Congresswoman DeLauro, but all of the Connecticut delegation. The entire delegation voted for the Emergency Homeowners Loan Program. It was part of the Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform and Consumer Protection Act. And I'm proud as the regional administrator to be in a region where Senator Dodd and Barney Frank reside. You know, back where I come from, we call it the Frank Dodd bill. But here in Connecticut, I better call it the Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform. And I think Congressman Frank would certainly understand that. But the job isn't over. You know, we all believe in the big idea that Harry Truman said back in 1949, that every American deserved a decent home. And that's why people have been coming to work for 60 years, every day, building affordable housing. And now we have to protect affordable housing, and we have to protect the homeowners and the American dream. And that's what the Dodd-Frank bill was all about. That's what the Emergency Homeowner Loan Program is all about. We're still looking to you to keep working hard. There are a lot of people out there who say, oh, you ought to let the banks foreclose, let the market take its course, make things easier for the banks. Well, we found out that the banks were making it easier for themselves, and I'm sure the Congresswoman is going to have plenty to say about that. But as a result of all of the issues around the fooling around with the Great American Mortgage, we passed Dodd-Frank Wall Street reform. And Congress passed it this summer, and it was so important to end the bad behavior that got us into this crisis. Dodd-Frank increased oversight for the mortgage industry. We know that's needed. It closed loopholes and ensured that lenders would not only profit from the home loans that they make, but they'd have a stake in the home loans' performance. And above all, it established the strongest consumer financial protections in our country's history. You know, the financial institutions tell you to read the fine print, and they tell you to follow the fine print, and we're finding out that they didn't follow their own fine print. At the same time, Dodd-Frank provided important new tools to help us stabilize hard-hit neighborhoods and help responsible homeowners. And let's be clear, where bad loans were driving foreclosures when this crisis started 3 years ago, today it's the damage that those bad loans have made to the economy that's causing all of our problems. And as a result, countless people here in Connecticut who have lost their jobs through no fault of their own and temporarily lack the steady income they need to pay their mortgage, we're here to help them. We're bringing as many resources as we can to bear to help those folks. The Emergency Homeowner Loan Program will help. It'll provide limited and targeted assistance to working families, bridge loans at no interest of up to $50,000 that help families get back on their feet and keep their home while they look for work. By targeting more than $32.9 million of assistance to struggling unemployed homeowners here in Connecticut, this builds on another administration initiative, the Treasury's Department's Hardest Hit Initiative, which targets states struggling with unemployment rates at or above the national average, or states who have steep price declines of more than 20% since the housing downturn. In New England, one state qualified for that, Rhode Island. So Rhode Island received Hardest Hit funds at the beginning of August, and now the balance of New England receives the Emergency Homeowners Loan Program. And Connecticut specifically receives $32.9 million. We suspect that that's going to result in anywhere from 1,600 to 1,700 families who avoid foreclosure because they're able to get these no-interest, non-recourse loans to help them get through hard times. Together, the Hardest Hit Program and the Emergency Homeowners Loan Program represent nationally a combined $8.6 billion investment that will ultimately help a broad group of struggling borrowers across the country, families and communities that need it most. That's why HUD is joining forces in this effort with NeighborWorks of America, a national network with more than 230 community-based partners in all 50 states, including our partners here today in Connecticut. Their participation reminds us once again that whether it's their ability to provide financial counseling, encourage economic development, or connect struggling homeowners to the assistance they need, HUD's vast network of housing counselors is one of our greatest strengths. About a month ago, we celebrated the fact that you folks were part of an effort that counseled 1 million families in this country. We know that the more families that get counseled, the greater success rate in mortgage restructuring. That's why the administration has put 37% more money into housing counseling this year alone. And we've allowed housing counselors and the neighborhood preservation programs to work more rapidly at identifying properties that can be retooled and refitted for affordable home ownership. These are all things that the administration's tried to do in response to your comments about how we can fight the mortgage crisis in our communities. Obviously, the Emergency Homeowner Loan Program is only one important tool in our toolbox as we fight to continue our nation's economic recovery. And it won't help every family, unfortunately, struggling to keep their home. But it will help some 1,600 to 1,700 families in Connecticut, and every little bit helps. With the new funding and with the new commitment to helping responsible homeowners who have fallen on tough times, President Obama, Congresswoman DeLauro, the Connecticut delegation, Secretary Donovan, and I believe we can tackle these tough challenges working with you each and every day, coming together, working to fight this crisis. We can't fight foreclosures and unemployment. Things are going to get better if we keep working day by day. We have to have faith that things will get better because we work hard to make that happen. And we can help our communities and our neighborhoods to recover. We've seen it happen in New Haven. We've seen it happen all over Connecticut and all over New England. Recovery is out there. We are working. We are moving forward. It's slow and it's tough work, but we're going to continue. We are not going to abandon this effort because people say, oh, it's too late. You can't do anything. You ought to let the market take its course. We don't believe that. We believe that we will continue to work and make things better and make a recovery happen. That's what this effort is about today, and that's why I'm proud to be a part of it. And now what I'd like to do is turn the proceedings over to one of our stalwart supporters, Congressman Rosa DeLauro. Thank you.
So much. It's really great to be here today, and I just want to say it really is like being on a campus, you know, like this. I love the little buildings and so forth, and I people love the little chairs. That really is great. I would just say to the administrator here, it is Dodd-Frank and it is Go Yankees. Don't I know it, you know. But it's wonderful to be here with all of you. And I want to say a thank you, really personal thank you to you, Richard, and where's Julie Fagan of HUD. I'm pleased to be here, but I want to say thank you for your work and your commitment to not letting this go. Mm-hmm. People's lives depend on it, and you get it, and it makes a difference. To you, Kelly, thank you, in the city of New Haven. It may be that just as well that I'm here and the mayor is there. Otherwise, he'd aggravate my life. I know what he's looking for. So, and Dara, thank you, and our thanks to you, and CHFA, and our good words to Tim Bannon. Jim Paley, thank you. Neighborhood Housing Services, and I know we've got Waterbury represented, and I certainly know Britain is here as well, and I'm sure that there are others. And we would thank you for providing the venue today for us for this announcement. I want to just say a word, and I know there's other. Is it Quinn? Connor Quinn from John Larson's office, my colleague John Larson's office. The entire delegation is really committed to this effort, and not in fact to just single people out, but I do want to say a thank you to Brenda and to Kim Jr. of my staff and so forth for the great work.
We also have Betsy from Dodd's office.
What's Betsy? Okay.
Kathy Bass from Lieberman's office.
Thank you. Okay, I didn't know you were here.
Anyone else I missed? Okay.
All right, thank you all. As I say, it's a joint effort. And to the homeowners who are here, and I just had a moment to meet Lourdes, but the other homeowners have come here to share their stories. They're poignant stories. And I say thank you to you for your willingness to tell your stories. It's not easy, and it hasn't been easy. And in terms of casework, my office has seen more foreclosures come up than ever before. Usually in the congressional office, the big issues are Social Security and immigration. And I will tell you that the issues around foreclosures and mortgages and homeowners have rivaled the number of cases that have come up in my office, and I have a feeling that's true for other offices as well. These are complicated matters. You're working with banks that are out of state, and you know there's no real person at the other end of the line that takes any responsibility for anything. They just don't do it. So, and I can't go into specifics because so many of the cases are confidential, but the stories are the same over and over and over again. Banks being sloppy with even strategically mismanaging paperwork, tacking on extra fees, mortgage lenders stringing families along through the trial period before they deny the much-needed modification, causing further hardship for families. And Rich talked about some of these things, but people are losing their jobs, they're fighting for their homes. And if you think about yourself, if you think about the chaos, you think about the trauma of losing something that you have fought so hard for all of your life, the realization of that American dream, which is what homes are about, and that's where you strive for. I have a 96-year-old mother who still, when she's driven down, you know, when we go down the street or so forth, she said, and she doesn't own her own home, that she wants to at 96. You know, it's a dream. You know, I said, yeah, you're not going to get a mortgage. But that is the reality of what this means to people and how hard they fight. And all people are looking for in this chaos is a reasonable modification so that they can make ends meet. The mortgage lenders all too often have been non-responsive and they have been hostile to them. So a big issue for my staff, big issue for neighborhood housing services, an invaluable resource for helping members of the community with the foreclosure situations or people who have fallen prey to a mortgage scam. Today's announcement is so important. It will help Connecticut families who are dealing with foreclosures to get back on their feet. As been stated, it is part of the Dodd-Frank law reform, the Consumer Protection Act. The Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, has announced that our state is going to receive the $32.9 million to implement the Emergency Homeowners Loan Program here. EHLP, for short, we got lots of acronyms at the federal level, will provide up to 24 months of assistance in the form of bridge loans to homeowners who are at risk for foreclosure, who have seen their income decrease due to involuntary unemployment, underemployment, or a medical condition. It's a part of $1 billion investment by HUD across 32 states and Puerto Rico to help homeowners who have been hit by this crisis. Times are so difficult now. I am determined, the other offices are determined, folks gathered here determined that we want to help people to keep up. That's what we want to try to do. And that we're here to help families to not get behind that curve on their mortgage. And the bridge loans are going to go a long way in doing this. I also want to say something that's, and I think a good person that we will have as an ally in what's going on here, and someone I strongly supported for this position, and that's Elizabeth Warren, who is going to be the special advisor to the President on the Consumer Financial Products Bureau. I think she will be a real champion for the middle class, and they're about the business of organizing that effort, and all of us in the delegation have worked hard to pass transparency laws, disclosure laws, to put an end to the predatory lending practices that were abused by banks and mortgage lenders who precipitated the crisis. The crisis is being tackled at all levels, and all of us are working, and I'm working here in New Haven and in Washington to do that. Again, an area in which we have participated amongst the delegation was to look at the HOME Act, the Housing Opportunity and Mortgage Equity Act. It affords affordable refinancing opportunities to all American mortgage holders with a Fannie Mae or a Freddie Mac backed mortgage. This amounts to about 30 million mortgages across the country. And it gives folks, again, the opportunity to refinance. And Morgan Stanley and JP Morgan Chase have estimated that the government could save about $50 billion, to say nothing of the help it would provide the mortgage holders. I want to applaud our Attorney General, Dick Blumenthal, for a 60-day moratorium on all foreclosures here in Connecticut. I just believe it's the right thing to do. And he moved forward doing it. I understand states like Texas are now following suit and others as well. I think we need to take a look at, I just have to mention this, on what I view as systemic foreclosure fraud. It has been systemic. Stories emerging across the country about robo-signers, signing foreclosure forms on families without ever reading them, about forged, fraudulent documents all along the way. In some cases, banks trying to foreclose on homes they do not even own title to. And perhaps most troubling, is directly tied to the rampant mortgage fraud that caused the financial crisis in the first place. Banks, mortgage lenders, irresponsible about keeping up with necessary paperwork in the boom days, and now, in many cases, they're trying to just close the books as quickly as possible to cover up bad behavior and predatory lending practices in order to maintain their bottom line at the expense of American families. It's unacceptable, and we've got to get to the bottom of this. And that is just emerging. Read the papers. Rampant fraud. Every single day we're reading about it. So I am so excited about what HUD is doing in this emergency homeowners loan program and putting it into practice. It's good that this $32 million will work to help middle-class families. And as Rich pointed out, these folks have played by the rules. They really have, and they find their homes in danger. Eligible homeowners will be able to submit applications for assistance beginning this December. I urge folks to contact our office or to contact the neighborhood housing services if you need help in the processing of claims. And this is such a shot in the arm for all of us. And this is one of the biggest stumbling blocks on the road to economic recovery. It is. That's a big part of what this economic crisis is all about. It's this housing piece. And thank you for the good folks who have the foresight and the vision to see this program and to provide the resources for us to get it done. Thanks very, very much.
Thank you, Congresswoman. You've said it all and more in terms of the banking situation. What I'd like to do now is acknowledge not only our congressional partners and our local partners and Jim Paley and NHS, but the state of Connecticut as well, which has been a stalwart supporter of all of these efforts, and particularly Connecticut Housing Finance Agency. Now, the Congresswoman mentioned that Tim was not available to be with us. He had to deal with some personal issues, medical issues, but we have in his stead Dara Covell, who is the Chief Housing Officer for the Connecticut Housing Finance Agency, and I'd like to ask Dara to come up and speak.
Good afternoon. Always hard to follow the Congresswoman and anyone on any day. This is obviously a very exciting day for the state of Connecticut and for homeowners across the state who are struggling to meet their mortgage payments in this very challenging time. Through the leadership of Governor Rell and the Connecticut General Assembly, CHFA, Connecticut Housing Finance Authority, has been working to stem the tide of foreclosures for families across the state since mid-2008. We have received, through our emergency mortgage assistance program, 44,000 calls since its opening, and we have referred homeowners to counseling agencies such as NHS and others across the state in order to get them assistance at this critical time in trying to maintain their housing. We've also been working with the judicial mediation program, which has been an extremely successful model. Of the 7,100 people who have worked through judicial mediation, 68% of those families have been able to keep their homes. As part of this effort, CHFA also funds foreclosure clinics, and just in the last year, we have funded 190 clinics that have served 1,700 households and families to assist them in dealing with this challenging time. Just last week, in fact, CHFA received a call from a homeowner in Columbia, Connecticut, who had been suffered from a medical emergency and was trying to maintain her home. We got a call on Thursday. Her court date was on Monday, and we, in 24 hours, we looked at her application, her loan. We underwrote it, and through a $40,000 one-time payment, we were able to bring her current on her mortgage and allow her to stay in a home that her family had actually had for 5 generations. So this is a critical challenge that faces the state, and there is so much more to do. There are 42,000 loans currently in Connecticut that are 90 days delinquent or in foreclosure. Our 9.1% unemployment rate means that many families cannot maintain their homes in spite of all their best efforts and hard work. This program, the Emergency Homeowners Loan Program, is an incredible opportunity for Connecticut and for the country. It will allow us and all the other agencies that participate in these activities to expand and broaden our efforts to help homeowners who are challenged by a temporary loss in employment or other financial hardships. So this is a fantastic opportunity. We look very much forward to helping do more for borrowers in need and to working with agencies like NHS and the others of you who are so critical in the delivery of services and resources to homeowners who are trying to hold on to their homes. We thank HUD for its incredible leadership and Congresswoman DeLauro and Senator Dodd's office and all of our delegation who has made this $33 million possible for Connecticut, and we're very excited about getting it to homeowners who need it the most. Thanks so much.